Greetings, greetings, Lover Fear here. This is the weekend reading for the 17th and 18th of October. Still going to be the same 5-card spread. It's just going to be a longer period of time, 48 hours instead of 72, 24. Let me learn how to math. And if you have not yet checked out the Cancer reading, the global message reading, definitely do so. Still looking to reach the Sagittarius person, mom. If you have not checked that out, if you would please share that to try and find that person so they get their message, that would be fantastic. Hopefully the Scorpio with the room 207, that reached them in a timely fashion. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started for the weekend reading. And soon the November beginning of month readings will start being done and getting uploaded. So as usual, we are going to start with Capricorn for the next 48 hours. Normally it should be 72. Just been kind of one of those weeks, guys. I believe Mercury is in full effect now, no longer any tree shadows, so things have been rocky. YouTube uploads have been horrific. So if you are looking for your daily readings, I am doing the best I can, guys. They are just not uploading the way they should be. So I'm going to be working on some fixes for that, but it may take a little while. So just bear with me. In the meantime, energy is fluid. So even though the intention is for the 24 and 48 hour periods for these particular readings, they can and do still apply when they reach you. So with all that said, do keep in mind energy again is fluid. Masculine and feminine does not indicate gender. It is simply an aspect of energy we all carry. What else are the usual caveats? If a connection does show up, roles can be reversed. So whatever resonates, if this does not fit your situation, it is not for you. That is okay. Just check out another reader. That one may resonate more. My readings do not look for anything specific other than things to aid you in your journey moving forward into a healthier, happier, more abundant life. So whatever situation or circumstance or connection that you are in that is potentially keeping you stuck where you are, not allowing you to move forward and grow into your most authentic self, that will be what shows up. Whether it's a connection, a situation, something within you, that's what my readings focus on. So sometimes it's a love connection. Sometimes it's a love connection within you. Sometimes it is a horrific connection going on at the workplace. So for the next 48 hours, overall energy for Capricorn, please. Overall energy for October 16th and 17th for Capricorn. Overall energy for the next 24 hours for Capricorn, please. Oh, Capricorn, what's going on with you guys? There you go. Thank you. And the most immediate past for Capricorn related to this time frame and period. Most immediate past relevant to this reading for Capricorn. I love that card. Present energy for Capricorn for this reading. Present energy related to this reading for Capricorn, please. I want you guys to be able to see. There we go. Capricorn, present energy, please, for this reading for. Thank you. And most immediate future outcome or outcome, most immediate outcome for this 48-hour period. Thank you. And most likely overall outcome for Capricorn. Thank you. Wow. Took you guys a minute, but you warmed up. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, yes. Capricorn. Wow. All right, so the overall energy for you guys for the weekend is Page of Staves. It's also Page of Wands. For me, this is really about, it's almost like the Hermit card. It is a focus on the connection with self. It's not so much going within the self. For me, it is the beginning stages of basically manifestation. And it is recognition of the deepest inner desires, because first there's recognition, and then there's planning, and then there's, the implementation where you're waiting for whatever to arrive in order to take the next step, which are the action steps. So it's sort of a progression. And this is that identification and recognition of, your deepest and truest desires. It's not so much a soul deep journey. That part has pretty much already completed, or enough that for this next step, for the energetic activity of manifestation, the magician aspect, to start to come forward. And this is almost, Temperance is almost that Two of Wands. And this is your most immediate past, where this is the energy one has to be in to reach this place. So it really does correlate. Temperance is about patience and divine timing. And it is being quiet within and trust and faith. It's a not being disturbed by what is outside of us, because there's that awareness of our connection with the divine. Present energy, Page of Coins. It's an interesting energy to be in the middle of this particular reading, especially in this deck. These are all solo energy cards. This is all about the self. Page of Coins is usually an offering of something. In this deck, I get the energy typically of something a little different. But this reading carries a whole different energy of everything. This is really an inner focus. This is a giving to yourself, I feel like. That's the energy here. So you have this recognition of the desires. This is the deep inner soul level spiritual trust in the divine. And now there is a giving to the self. There is the allowance of it. This is okay for me to have, to accept, to receive. But there's no one doing the giving, and there's no one particularly doing the receiving. It just is. It's a recognition, the energy that is coming off of this because of these two preceding cards. The energy is really one of recognition of one's own abundance. And And the quantity isn't really what's relevant. It's the value and appreciation of what is, regardless of what the perceptions of others. To some, this is a single coin. To others, this meets all the needs that I have, and I am grateful. I don't need more. I don't desire more. Some might, but there's not a taking for granted. That is really kind of the energy that I am getting off this particular card in this particular. This is a spiritual progression here, Capricorn, which is amazing considering how the readings have gone lately. This is probably one of the most beautiful moon cards. This really is just a gorgeous moon card. It came out in reverse, but just look at that. And it's like she's clearly on a cloud and looking, you know, kind of down at something, observing something. And in reverse, it's like a floating, a flying, but there's no fear. Almost a falling, like a falling into the sky, but without fear, without yeah, it's facing, it's like a facing fears without a fear, if that makes any sense at all. It's like if you have a phobia and you know you're well aware of what your phobic reaction is, and you walk into that situation, a situation that involves confronting your phobia, and there's the recognition of the fear being present, but there's no attachment to the fear, therefore there's no actual fear reaction, if that kind of makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain. I feel it, but translating it into words is difficult. But I hope that makes some kind of sense. Facing fear without the fear reaction. And it's an experience and an observation, but not a being in that place. It's almost like you're watching it from the outside, but it's not a detachment, it's a non-attachment. There's a difference. And then the most likely outcome. Very different. The Star card. In traditional tarot, it is about wish fulfillment, destiny, completion of this type of journey, spiritual journey. It's the ultimate manifestation result. And I still get that energy. It's just the manifestation isn't so dreamy and fantasy-like. It's more this connection with all that is. It's this unity and this communion with self and with everything around, and therefore being able to draw in and attract whatever is desired. And this is the overall outcome of this progression for those Capricorns that are in this energy right now for the weekend. So come the end of the weekend, or maybe further out, because this is the 48-hour most likely outcome, is kind of maybe having an experience where you are confronted with a fear or something uncomfortable, unusual, and there's no attachment to it. There's recognition and observation, but no attachment. And the larger outcome is attracting your deepest desires and fulfillment with ease and comfort. So there you go, Capricorn. That is your weekend reading for October 17th through the 18th, Saturday and Sunday. Aquarius. Same rules apply. Everyone is equal. Not necessarily in an energetic space, because we all have our own journey. We all have our own path. Aquarius, let's see what's in store for you all. Overall energy for the weekend, Aquarius, thank you. Most immediate relevant past. Oh, you guys are talkative. Aquarius present energy, please, for the next 48 hours. And Aquarius, the most likely outcome for this weekend reading. The most likely outcome for this 48-hour period, thank you. And the most likely overall outcome for this situation. Most likely overall outcome for this situation, please. For Aquarius. They're almost talking most likely overall outcome for Aquarius for this situation. Something transitional. Undecided. Excuse me, guys. Just out of curiosity. Aquarius, overall energy. Nine of Wands. Blocking, defending, protecting, guarding. I haven't gotten to the rest of the cards yet, but this almost feels like a self-sabotage / blame energy. Almost like there's been a, and I'm not going to say you, because it may not be you. It may be a surrounding energy that is influencing that sort of thing. But it's like something or someone sort of poking and poking and poking. And then there is a repercussion, a consequence. And then there's blame about that repercussion, consequence that was caused by the actions of the poking. So it's like this character, whoever or whatever, is going up to someone and saying poke, 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 poke. Then that someone smacks this person and says, yeah, no, get away. And then they get mad for the person smacking them away. Blaming them, that's their fault, they're being aggressive, that sort of thing. That may just be for a very small part of this collective, so I'm going to get into the other cards and see. Most recent past energy for Four of Staves or Four of Wands in reverse. So you see that he's balancing 2 of the 4 wands on the other 2. Obviously, this is a card about balance and skill and patience and wisdom and focus. It's a very intentionally created balance, and one that's carefully attended to and maintained on purpose. Imbalance. Not getting the attention it needs to stay steady and stable and reliable. The support system, which is this guy, what's holding everything together, your foundation, is not so stable. And that may be where this energy of picking on and blame may be coming from, but we'll see. Present energy, 4 of Swords. This is an interesting 4 of Swords. I've never seen this card. Sword ethic is when you are not in a space of defense or combat type of situation. Blades down. Because anything else is a move to attack, which is either aggressive or defensive. But either way, it indicates attack. You have your swords blade down. That is a very peaceful, it's like a white flag kind of thing. It's a I am not a threat. Usually 4 of Swords is about rest and exhaustion. These do not portray exhaustion or fatigue. They're actually kind of smiling and friendly looking and inviting, and we did not come to harm. We are warm and open and welcoming. Maybe with a little bit of caution. Potential future outcome for the weekend. 3 of Swords, a lot of swords. Aquarius, you may be dealing with a fire sign or have fire in your chart. Three of Wands is typically about you've done all the initial steps to get something moving and you are waiting to see the results of it. And it's a step-by-step where you take one step and then you wait for the return and then you take your next step. You have to see the outcome before you know where to go next. In traditional Rider Waite, it's a guy standing like on a pier waiting for the ships to come in with supplies so he can get into action. It's the first action steps to begin something. That is not the energy of this card. It's still an action card when it's upright. And it's almost like it's also almost like a balancing card, but it's a more like a balancing act. A very focused balancing act, almost like a performance. You can see it looks like a performance, but it's one that takes a lot of skill and a lot of practice and a lot of attentiveness. Again, it's a very similar energy, only it's different. This takes a focused concentration to keep things stable This takes a focus, concentration to control movement, to guide it, not to grip it. You see this third one, it's juggling. But it's not the same kind of juggling as a Two of Pentacles in a traditional Rider-Waite. It's a skilled, intentional juggling that is for mobility, flexibility, strength. It's more of an exercise of mind and body at a very high skill level. And that's it. That's the imagery. So the energy is really keeping things moving, multiple things moving in a very balanced and intentional way. It is still very much an action step, an action card, just like the Three of Wands is, only in the Three of Wands in Rider-Waite, you don't see the character moving. It's more like the results of the movement he engaged in between the planning and this first step in implementation. And so it's just represented differently. You're seeing that in-between step manifest here. Only with it being in reverse, it has the same meaning regardless. Just not having taken those actions and kind of being stagnant, being still, just waiting. Waiting for an outcome of something that there was no action to gain. Overall, come for the situation as a whole. Two of Cups. Sideways. Which for me is always undecided. It can go either way based on the decisions made up until this point. This is like a free will, not a divinely guided. And you're not here yet. Whatever it is that's influencing this choice has not yet come about. So you can intentionally influence what direction the overall outcome is. And the Two of Cups really is, I feel like, about connecting between the self and the divine. If you look in this deck in particular, the dome is like offering divine, because there's no one else, but there's two cups. So there's an offering to the divine of its own cup, and he's also offering the divine from his own cup. So they're both full. He's filled his own cup. And he's showing gratitude towards the divine. And then he's also going to consume his own cup. Love himself, because cups, water, is about emotion. Moon, Cancer, emotion, water. So this is all about the connection of the soul and emotion to the divine and to the self. It's a deep awareness within. When it's upright. Upside down, it's the disconnect. And it came out sideways. So there's something in here that is going to determine this is not yet going on. Lack of balance, peace, imbalance, a lot of lack of balance, a lot of defensiveness, guardedness. Yeah. This is even with multiple people. Aquarius, if you're not careful, This is going to end up in reverse. There's a show going on here. There's all this inner conflict, inner imbalance, inner energy of this is all about the self, except for where you are presently. This is a show for others. This is a show for the external, which is all ego. This level of imbalance and conflict is really kind of about what is within, including this kind of inner conflict right here. This is the imbalance. This is the lack of control. This is the lack of focus. This is the lack of attentiveness. This is a lack of both focused energy and focused balance, stillness. And they're both about balance and a certain level of control, but control without being controlling. There's no need to grip, you can guide. But there's no balance either way, in motion or in stillness. There's no intention, there's no focus, there's no purpose. And in that, yeah, you are bringing what is within without. So the conflict that this is creating, and then this pretense of being okay, being at peace, being warm and inviting, this is an act. It's a display for the external, and that is creating an unsavory internal environment. And it's showing up everywhere around this. So when you leave this is the energy you came from. Something's occurring in the external, where you put this on pause, pretend this, and then as soon as you hit the pause button and start playing again, you're right back in that imbalance. There is an opportunity to change this because this is all inner energy. Except for this one. Well, it's still inner energy, but it conflicts completely with everything else. So this is ego. Which means you're probably guarding yourself, protecting yourself from your emotional connection. Otherwise, this would be sincere. It wouldn't be for those just showing up. And these energies would be turned around. And this wouldn't be in here at all. So this is a disconnect from the emotional, intuitive self that's trying to communicate with you about what to change about this. But first you have to recognize that it's going on before a change can even be considered. So universe is making sure that you are aware, that universe is aware for those that this applies to, this particular group of Aquarius. It's not going to apply to everyone. But universe is pointing this out so that you can make the adjustments and decisions and become aware within of this conflict and have this end up as your overall outcome. Rather than continuing this egoic pretense and rejecting the divine, rejecting your, and therefore rejecting the self, you. So, you know, it's a very loose guideline here because it is all about free will. So universe, divine, God, whatever you want to call it, is not going to directly, these are not major arcana. They're not going to directly intercede. They're saying, hey, maybe check this out. You might want to do something different. You probably want to do something different. So that's it for you, Aquarius. Moving on to Pisces. And this is all for the weekend, October 17th to 18th, that 48-hour period. Hopefully at the end of the week this time. I will get it all in on Friday so that you guys have the full weekend read. Because this weekend I am starting on November's beginning of the month readings. And the love readings will just be kind of scattered throughout the month of between now and November. So by the end of probably by early the second week, all of November's love readings should be up. But we will see, because those can be very in-depth and very long. Pisces. For the weekend, Pisces, overall energy, please. For October 17th and 18th, overall energy for the weekend. Pisces, please. You guys were heavy yesterday? Today? Whatever that was. Pisces. Same card. What the heck? Overall energy and most recent past relevant to the weekend situation for Pisces. Most relevant in the immediate past relevant to Pisces. Please, universe. Okay, spirits, thank you. Whoa. All right, present energy for Pisces for the weekend. Thank you. Oh, you guys got two. Oh. Oh. Okay. All right, most likely outcome for the weekend. Damn. All right, and most likely overall outcome for the entire situation. Thank you. Pisces. Oh, come on. Pisces. You guys are getting it rough. Okay, well, we just went over the Two of Cups. It's in reverse, so we know that that means, that disconnect with the emotion, with the divine, with the self, the inner higher self. It's kind of a rejection of that connection, and therefore of the self. And this is the most interesting Ten of Coins, which is usually ultimate stability and abundance, happiness, family, warmth, all that kind of stuff. Upright, this Ten of Coins looks an awful lot like the Devil card. And honestly, the energy, hoarding. This particular card feels like hoarding in the upright. There's some aggression both in this tiger and this lord or prince or whatever noble person riding it. It's got this baton. All the coins appear like they're behind them. So it's like he's defending his gains from you, the viewer. Ready to give somebody a beat down if they touch his coins. Right? But it came out in reverse. This is most recent past. So it could be you've lost a job. It could be that you are recognizing your attachment to financial outcomes is not healthy for you. is not beneficial. It doesn't do anything to change the situation, so why hold on to it? So there is kind of a releasing of some type in the whole concept of protecting your money. So we'll see what else we have. Then we have the Six of Cups and the Nine of Cups. This one's interesting. This particular Six of Cups is usually about reminiscing the past, holding on to the past, holding on to something and not wanting to. It's a memory, or it could be something from the past coming back, a revisiting, an ex usually, or past friendship that's coming back together, past life connection. I do not get that energy from this card. What I see are Two of Cups and memory. Two of Cups in the present, and fond or happy memories of the past. I don't feel like it's necessarily holding on to the past. I think there is this presence in the present with these two cups. But there's just kind of this reminiscing, this fondness for, hey, you know, we've had really good time together. This has been great. And then sitting and talking about the great time you've had together. It's not so much a not letting go, not releasing. Yeah, both are present. So it's just it's a pleasant revisiting, recall. And with the Nine of Cups, then this Two of Cups is continuing to have this kind of stable, healthy, happy, integrated, and you're bringing others to the table and you're getting ready, and it's a very fulfilling place to be. And in these situations, when you're talking about, you know, the imagery is one of domestic partnership to some degree, whether it's lovers, friends who are roommates, a marriage, some type of domestic partnership connection. And the energy is that she is doing one part and the other person is doing another part, not in this particular view. And that's what's creating that balance. And it may be him, and he's off there, you know, reminiscing about how awesome she is. And what a great set of experiences they've had. So this is the present energy. Which is really it's just a very nice, warm, there's no extreme. It's just warm. It's contentment. Strength in reverse. Possible outcome. This is one of the few strength cards that when it's reversed, the energy is actually preferable over the upright. And strength, you usually want to be upright. Not in this card. This card is actually very aggressive and assertive and violent. It is a forced control. It is, I am dominating you because I am physically stronger than you. I actually feel like in this deck, it's almost like an abuse card. You know, if you look, he is on top of this tiger. And he has his fist. He has a grip on this tiger in a very vulnerable kind of way. And he's getting ready to punch the hell out of this tiger. The tiger is just trying to defend himself. And they may be in some ways evenly matched. The tiger may in some ways have the advantage. But in this particular skirmish, it is the human desire to be powerful and strong and prove it and show the world how strong I am. That's what I get off this card. I don't even get much Leo on here. The surrounding cards don't support that energy. Luckily, it came out in reverse. And in the reverse, this is like the vulnerable card. The willingness to be open. That you feel safe enough in a situation to do just the opposite. To simply allow whatever comes up to come up. And that is actually a much more powerful energy than this one. It's actually a much stronger energy, that vulnerability. Capping off the reading for most likely overall outcome. Maybe it goes, even past the weekend. Queen of Coins in reverse. Normally that would not be a good thing in a traditional way. It would not be a beneficial thing. In this particular case, upright, the Queen of Coins is a very abundant, well-fed, opulent, very vulgarly wealthy kind of energy, and yet defensive, guarded, not necessarily in this very, not in an attacking, aggressive way, but she's got seer robes, which is a traditional posture in the Japanese culture. But then she's also got the snake here. Yeah, snakes mean, right? No different in tarot. And this almost looks like a skeleton of a phoenix. Did not notice that before. The bones of a phoenix. Because, she's rich, so she can, right? She can go trophy hunting and skin an animal or have someone skin an animal just to have it hung on her wall. Usually it's the Queen of Pentacles in reverse kind of energy. But this Queen of Pentacles carries that energy, at least in this reading, of being that upright. So in reverse, I feel like it's very much like this recent past, this letting go of this guardianship and aggression. Mofo, you better not touch my money. I feel like that's kind of the tiger's voice. Very deep bass, kind of, kind of scary. His bark might be worse than his bite, but there's still that very defensive kind of energy. Upright. But reverse, it's kind of the opposite. Yeah, I know I've got what I need to do what I need to do, and there's no reason for me to guard it so assertively. Especially when there's nobody moving in for an attack right now. And this kind of mimics it. I don't need to be wealthy. I don't need to have this opulence. I don't need to have this level of luxury. You might end up going with that anyway. If it's available to you, you might start doing it, and that's fine. Just don't make that the focus of your world, which is what I feel like the upright has done. That materialism is the focus of her world. She wants everybody to know it. You're not sure you want everybody to know it, even if this is true, where you basically do live in a lap of luxury and abundance and wealth. It's not, you're not interested in gloating about it. You're not interested in showing it off. It just is. And there's a conflict between this disconnect, this emotional disconnect. And you would think, if you're not attached to the material world, maybe more is being invested in the internal world, in the emotional body. I very much see that. I do think that the Pisces are still in some kind of divine connection. There's only one major arcana, but we have a court card and a 10, which is usually a closing out of a cycle. Not necessarily an end of a situation, but a change. This situation is ending. This perspective is ending. This context is ending. And we're going to shift how we're doing, thinking, being about something. What's shifting is this. And more of a movement, an intentional movement. And I feel like you're drawing on these past experiences, like you have this very loose connection with someone. See how far apart they are? You know, but they exist. They're both there. And it's something to celebrate, even though they're not very close together. And there's this recall of these various experiences, situations, things that were fun, that were a good time, and that just make holding on to these two cups worthwhile. They make you happy. And that in turn is manifesting this quality, this balance, this peacefulness of domesticity. Now, domesticity is not for everyone. This is a representation. This is an image. Don't anybody get triggered by it. It's a representation. The energy carries the same message. That there is a peace within and an enjoyment of being in a partnership with someone, with a person, as well as with yourself. And that enjoyment and experience and these transformations, these little step-by-step transformations are leaving space for you to feel like it's okay to be vulnerable. I think you're going to be hanging out here for a while and developing some things. I don't think this is a 24-hour reading. These are things that are showing up in the next 24 hours that you may recognize in your thoughts or feelings, or may ring a bell in some more concrete way. You guys will know. So that trust and vulnerability, because it does. It takes a lot of courage to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And that's kind of all said on this card. The card is strength. Another word is courage for the lion. So maybe this is for the group that has a very strong Leo energy with their Pisces energy. Or some, yeah, potential, possible. And there's just no need to overpower what's within anymore. You don't have to try and force it. You're in a space where you can simply allow it by the time you get here. And just letting go of that materialism, that ego, that exterior appearance of quality and balance, and instead making it something a little more realistic and concrete, which this energy, that desire, will eventually manifest to that flipping world. And then everything just is going to change completely. So I do feel like this is a very positive outcome, even though we did kind of start a little on the heavy. And I feel like there's going to be some recognition of this progression, of this detaching or non-attaching to the wealth identity or to the perception of a wealth identity. Just really a lot of moving out of ego for the Pisces to allow space for a much healthier, happier situation with your partner, friend, family. It can be anyone, but I do see a romantic relationship in this situation. And I actually kind of feel like there's a very good chance many of them might be same-sex kind of partnerships. That's cool. First one for me. I like new stuff. I like learning new things. All right. And we are going to move on to Aries. Alrighty, Aries. Let's see what you guys have going on for the weekend. For the next 48 hours, Saturday and Sunday, October 17th and 18th. I keep forgetting the dates. Ooh. Trying to balance something, maybe? Overall energy for Aries. Most recent relevant past for the weekend. Present for Aries for this weekend. Present state. And most likely outcome for the weekend. Wow. Aries. Definitely in kind of an active state. And the most likely overall outcome for this situation. Most likely overall outcome for this situation. Ooh, okay. So there is going to be some changes, clearly. Overall energy, 6 of Cups in reverse. Most immediate past, Knight of Cups. Present, a lot of cups, guys. 7 of Cups in reverse. Likely outcome. 4 coins. Pentacles. Overall outcome, the Tower. And these cards carry a different energy, as I've explained with everyone else. Normally, 6 of Cups is about the past. With this particular card, upright, it still carries the same energy. There's 2, and there's kind of a distance, a separation there. And there's fond recalls. You can tell by the look on his face that this is kind of a happy set of memories of recall of events, engagement, what have you. It's in reverse, though. So, depending on the energy of the rest of the cards, which I haven't gotten into yet, this could either be that the separation is not so happy, the experience does not create such fond memories, or it could be that there is no separation. We'll see. So it does feel like this is in context of another person. Could be a situation, work, school, family. But with all these cups, I'm thinking this is a romantic connection. Knight of Cups. Which is interesting. Knights are usually a movement card. But this has the energy more of contentment, of feeling there's a plenty but not an overabundance, being content with what is in front of you. So it doesn't feel like a moving towards something, it feels like a already present, or in the recent past this was already present. Seven of Cups is dreaming of the possibilities. In a Rider-Waite, it's options, choices. Upright, this carries the energy of possibility. Dreaming of all the directions you could possibly go, but it's in reverse. The energy is stuck. Kind of a not seeing what is possible, what may be possible, just sort of yeah, it's kind of just a stuck, not being able to see what is, or feel or connect with a dream, a desire, it's sort of a why bother kind of energy. Most likely future Four of Coins, which is not necessarily Standard Rider-Waite. This is a holding on to something, not letting it go. Here in this card, it's more like pleasurable balance, sort of a playful engagement, maybe toying with what is with you. So it is a holding on, but it's not a gripping onto. It's not a, it's just, this is what I have and this is what I'm playing with. It's not a very serious card. It's not a genuine investment. There's enjoyment in it. It's fun, whatever this is. But there's no particular sincere attachment to it. Whereas the Four of Pentacles is just the opposite. Most likely overall outcome is the Tower. Which is divinely guided. It's the divine basically undoing or clearing, creating, hoping to move you into a space where you can clear something out to make room for something new. And it could be a belief, a perception. I feel like it has to do with this, actually. This kind of state of not seeing possibilities. And here in this possible outcome for the weekend, it's kind of a frivolous energy. Whereas in the most immediate past, it was more genuine, more sincere, more content, more balanced. The overall, the Six of Cups, this is also kind of a stuck. This is like, it can only be these two. And these are more like the memories you want to make, but currently are not necessarily coming into fruition. And there was a contentedness in this idea, in this fantasy of this connection. This is the space that you imagined would exist. And now you're kind of moving out of that space where imagination and fantasy is faltering. You know, truth may be starting to kick in, and I feel like it is, there's a rejection here. Yeah, there's a rejection here. This is what you dreamt of. This is what was desired. This is what was imagined. There's a certain level of disillusionment that's coming in, that's present. And this is kind of a masking energy. Like, I'm going to go out and have fun and pretend like this is going to make up for the rest. But it doesn't work. The overall outcome, if you move into this pretending energy, this masking energy, the overall outcome is going to come crashing down. And whatever it is that this is actually about, this connection, this person, there's going to be a need to look at, there's going to be a need to go within and move through. So this is all what's going on with you in this connection, your perceptions, views, perspectives. So there needs to be kind of a, feels like that, a clearing out of these illusions and fantasies and getting a little more grounded with the self. But until this occurs, if you move into this space, rather than going ahead and doing this, it's going to be pretty dramatic within. Something is going to trigger an unmasking, and it's going to be a little bit harsher. It's going to happen either way. You can do it by choice, or universe is going to force the issue, which is what happens when we need to learn and grow and develop and get to what is in our highest and greatest good. So hopefully that helps, Aries. That is the weekend read. And we'll see what comes out next time. Hopefully this helps get you unstuck and creates a little more space for you to find your true and authentic peace and love. All right, Taurus, pardon me. Oops. All right. Taurus weekend reading for October 17th, 18th. Basically 48 hours, even though the way uploads have been going, 48 hours is going to become 24. But we'll see. Maybe Mercury will be a little more comfortable this time. All right, Taurus. Overall energy for this weekend, October 17th to 18th for Taurus. And the most immediate relevant past for Taurus. You guys got two. Make sure you guys can see. All right, and presents for Taurus. And most likely outcome for the weekend. Wow, everybody's so talkative today. And most likely overall outcome for this situation. Most likely overall outcome for this situation. Six of Cups again. All right. Sun in reverse, which is Leo energy. Traditional Rider-Waite, and I do Rider-Waite because that is the foundation of tarot in the modern context, and so that's what a lot of people see, are that kind of representation. Traditionally, it's the happiest card in the deck. Upright. Not a lot of happiness, really, per se. It's more of a trying to fight against the universe, really. It is a strength card. It is a Leo energy, fire energy. And it is very reflective of the Leo energy, which does speak to that stubbornness, but it came out in reverse. And the energy I'm picking up is more of a surrender. Surrendering to what is. Whatever is, may be. Or potentially a need to surrender. A major arcana card. Most immediate past. Six of Swords and Three of Coins. Traditionally, Three of Coins is about collaboration and partnership. And Six of Swords is Four of Swords. I am blanking all of a sudden. Six of Swords. I see Seven of Swords. Five of Swords. Why am I blanking on Six of Swords? It's not illusion. Seven of Swords is illusions. Either way, it doesn't matter. So I can't compare this to a traditional Rider-Waite right now because I'm blanking. The energy of this card is a preparedness to defend, a blocking. It's also in reverse, which correlates here. It's a releasing of defensiveness. Three of Coins is typically about collaboration, but you go from this Six of defensiveness to this Three. There's not another person. This isn't collaborative. This is focused control, but not, it's skill. It's more skill-based. Rather than trying to control an environment, it's a control of self. There's a difference. So when we control the self in the correct way, it is still a surrender. It is a releasing of this need to try and stop whatever it is that's coming in. So this is very transitional. Present energy, Eight of Cups, which is usually a walking away, and that is actually what is showing here. And it's actually a statement of self-value and self-respect. However, it came out in reverse. So upright, yes, there is a walking away. Usually it's an abandonment card. But here, you see this guy kind of like, you know, he's like a vendor. He's like, please, please, please come buy my product. And he's like, yeah. No, I think I can do a little better for myself. It's not so much an abandonment as it is a self-respect. But it's in reverse. Which happens when we start moving into this surrender kind of energy. Ego can come in and create doubt about our worth and our value. Whether or not we actually deserve. Should we go back and buy that? Should I do this instead of that? What regrets will I have? And it creates fear and doubt. It's a process. So just be aware of this transition and what it is that might be causing these doubts about what it is you're surrendering to. Because this surrender is divine. It's in your highest and greatest good. And this happens to the best of us, you know, just notice. And we'll see what most immediate likely future is. The moon. Also in reverse with the sun. This is also surrendering. So you're having this period of doubt right now, but you're coming back, you're coming out of it. And this surrender here is actually more peaceful than you started with. So, you know, there's a little insecurity about this process, but that kind of evens out into this beautiful allowing of the divine, of the authentic, of this peace, this sense of freedom. And moon card in reverse typically means revealing of secrets coming out of and recognition of what is operating in the subconscious. And when we do that, it gives us this freedom. It gives us this ability to just fall into with awareness and acceptance. And that's what I feel like this card is. It's a falling into and a trusting in the divine, the universe, God, whatever you want to label it. A floating, larger overall outcome. 6 of Cups. Again, normally a card about the past and holding on to, not necessarily holding on to, but remembering something. It can be a reconciliation, a reunion. In this particular reading, the energy of this card has come through pretty consistently. And it's been about connection, and there being some distance, but there being, you know, these fond memories and recall. And I feel like that's still the case here. So maybe there is a releasing of someone or something, a situation. There's this distance between the two. And there's these fond memories. And there's a peace about it. And there's still this love. There's still this connection. There is still this fondness, value, and appreciation. But there's not necessarily an attachment to be right there with them. You know, you're holding on to the pleasantness that exists in this connection, but without sacrificing the self. And so even when there's separation, which there may be currently, there is no resentment or suffering or pain about it. It's an acceptance that is still filled with love and fondness and compassion and joy. There's not an attachment to it, but there is a fondness of it. And this freedom of, which is interesting with this is the only other cups. It's walking away. It's doubt if this is the right move to make. And it's happening without much, it's just happening. It's just taking place. And there's this self-doubt about the rightness of it. But at the end of it, when there's that allowance and acceptance, there's a peace with it and an appreciation for it. So that's some pretty impressive energy, Taurus, especially since it's been so heavy lately. I know you guys are some of the ones that have been hit pretty hard with some massive transformation and lessons that can be very difficult. So this is definitely a much better set of energies across the board. And I'm really excited to see this for everyone so far. This is good stuff, guys. All right, Gemini, my twinsies. Gemini. Let's see what we got for Gemini for the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, 17th, 18th overall energy for the weekend for my Geminis. I'm kind of digging on Gemini energy. I only know one that I'm aware of, but digging on Gemini energy. All right, overall, Confucius. Wow. Most immediate past relevant to Gemini for this reading. October 17th, 18th, most relevant past, most relevant immediate past of that. Oh, that is most relevant immediate past for Gemini. What is it with the twos? All right, Gemini, present energy for Gemini for this weekend, for this reading. Present energy. Again. And most likely immediate outcome for this weekend for Gemini. Transitional. Undecided. And the overall most likely outcome for this situation. All right. Confucius. 20. Kind of an ending there. Just a little bit. Who's 20? Temperance? No. Judgment. But we know Confucius is a philosopher, a spiritual leader, wisdom, another major arcana, so guidance, deep inner guidance. You know, so somebody, a guide, universe, the divine is communicating with you. So pay attention, Gemini. There's some lessons here apparently. Or protection, we'll see. Most immediate past, 8 of Coins, reversed to Queen of Coins. I feel like the most immediate past, Gemini, 8 of Coins is about putting in a lot of hard work. Queen of Coins is abundance, luxury. I feel like there may have been an attitude that, or maybe there was a sudden influx of material wealth and you decide you didn't need to work anymore. No, that's not what I'm getting. I mean, that may be for a few people, but that's not the real. It's more value ethic based. I feel like it's a perceptual shift. Like this is what the world expects. This is what the expectation is, to get to this point of wealth and abundance and stability, and that we are to work to gain this. And you're like, you know, that's just not my value. That's not the reason I work. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not my sense of fulfillment. That's not my sense of abundance and enjoyment. This is probably from listening to that deep inner guide, that wisdom within. 6 of Cups, where you presently are. You'd rather be in a state of emotional connection with what you do. You want to have this pairing to enjoy and think of things fondly, to enjoy and receive this sense of fulfillment, emotional fulfillment. This fulfillment has a superficiality to it that you recognize, and you're like, you know what, that's really not me. That's not what I want. I want emotional fulfillment. I want to have this connection between myself and whatever is outside myself. And I want to enjoy the experiences. I want them to be things I think of fondly. This is kind of where you're at. You're transitioning from here, and in that drive for the emotionally centered piece, to feel connected to whatever it is that is outside of you. This could be about a love relationship. I don't feel like it is. I feel like this is really between you and this. Anything you do, whether it's volunteering, whether it's relationship, whether it's pursuing a house, whatever it is, you want to have that sense of enjoyment. You want to think about it fondly. You don't want the heaviness and burden of obligation. You want it to be enjoyable, fun, pleasant, something that later on you can look back on and go, wow, that was awesome. It took a while to get the pieces to fall into place and for it all to connect. But these are all the ways that it was wonderful. And it made me really happy. So this is that joining between the internal and the external. The desire within with the manifestation of without. And it does. It takes some effort. It takes time. It takes, work. It takes work. But this just isn't what you want to work for. Possible future outcome, King of Coins. Not a whole lot different from this Queen of Coins energy. This is a power couple, but it's a very materially based, and she's facing forward, he is looking away. They obviously have matching wealth and abundance and opulence, and kind of take it for granted is the energy I get. So, there could be some external pressures going on. And what I feel like, because this is the energy you're in, you know, those external pressures still have that ability and opportunity to grab onto the doubts and insecurities that can put you right back here. So this outcome is not determined. It's not fixed. It's all a matter of what you do with this while you're in this space. But this is a potential outcome. And so there's going to be something kind of an opportunity or a situation or a thought. Make sure you continue to listen. Because I feel like with these two sets, what you actually most desire is for this King of Coins to come out in reverse. But there's an element of free will here. You can give in to these pressures of working for material. So you're just not there yet. But this is for the weekend energy, so this is a potential outcome for this weekend. You could end up, by the end of Sunday, going back to this energy. It can be hard, you know, it can be a hard choice to make because we do have an external world to deal with. Ace of Staves. Ace of Wands. Traditional Rider-Waite. It's got very different energy and came out reversed. This is like upright. I see this as being like glaciers. And it's sort of there's a desire, and here's kind of a path cut into the glaciers, but you're all the way across on this with this canyon in between, and it's like, how am I going to get over there, and then how am I going to scale it? It's just me by myself, and that's where I need to go. How do I get there? This is in reverse. I think it's a melting away. I feel like it's a melting away of doubt. There's an energy of, I may not know how to get there, but I'm going to get there. There's a determination here. A pause to spend some time with the awareness already. This is not impossible. It might look that way from over here, but it's not impossible. I just need to take the time to find the best route and the best method for me, for where I am right now. This is where I know I need to be, where I need to go, the path I need to be on. And I'm not sure how to make the leap from here to there, but I will make the leap from here to there. It's most likely overall outcome. So even if you end up in this, back in this energy, perhaps there's someone you're going to meet this weekend that, you know, really tries to convince you that this is the way to be. And it might be somebody that you think very highly of. They have a lot of regard and respect for, somebody who is well off. And so there may be some questioning of yourself. And is this the value energy to stay in? Or is this the value energy to move into or away from? You know, it could be a family member, could be a potential new partner, it could be a friend, it could be a colleague. But I do feel like there is a person that may try and influence your own inner knowing. And with this being the overall outcome, and this being the overall energy, you may waver. You may waver. And this decision here could very easily change this decision, change this perspective, and nullify this energy. It could. But I don't think that's where you're headed. I think you're headed for this reversal. And to stay true to yourself. There's much more support for that than there is for this. So, yeah. And I do feel like this is someone else or some other belief system or something else that is very close to you that there's conflict with, and not like argumentative conflict, but like, which way is honestly best for me? You know, a value and appreciation that this energy may be best for some people, but what's best for you? And I think you'll end up relying on that inner knowing and going down the right path. At least most of you. Some may not. Some may decide to go back to this energy and revisit this later. Yeah. So Gemini, that's it for the weekend. I hope that helps and offers a little guidance for you and is very supportive of what you feel like is most valuable and valid in your experience right now. All right, Cancer. For this weekend, man, you guys need a break. You've been pulling some energy. This Mercury retrograde is hitting you super hard in the feels and the intuition. Probably lots of downgrades and uploads and upgrades and crazy stuff for those who are tuned in and on the ascension path. You guys have been getting seriously smacked. Virgo and Libra too. Pisces has been getting smacked pretty hard too. Alright, Cancer, what you got going on for the weekend here? Hopefully some rest and recuperation. We'll see. I'm going to hope that Virgo's been a little all over the map. Some really great stuff and some really heavy stuff. Libra, unfortunately, you guys keep getting smacked. I don't know what I'm going to do with you all Scorpios, though. Leos have been a little heavy, too. Yeah, these summer and fall energies. All right, Cancer. What you got overall energy for this weekend? 17th through 18th. Tell me something good, Cancers. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Most immediate past relevant to this. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's universe, not moon. Two major arcanas. Present energy for Cancers. Come on, Cancers, you guys need a break. Present energy for Cancers for this reading, for this weekend. Present energy for Cancers this weekend. Something doesn't feel right. It goes so fast, sometimes the cards flip by my hands and I don't even realize it, so I have to feel the energy. Present energy for Cancer this weekend, please. Again, more smackdown. Change, ending, guidance. Present energy for Cancers here. Most likely outcome for this weekend, for this reading, most likely outcome for this weekend within the next 48 hours for Cancers. 17, 18 onwards, immediate outcome. Most likely immediate outcome for Cancers. And overall outcome for this situation for Cancers. Wow. All right. It's amazing how the energy changes in the cards per reading. Heavenly Master. Balance. In reverse. Universe. Closing of a chapter. This is also the end of a cycle. Fives are ends of a cycle. This is the end of the tarot. It's basically the World card. It's the end of the journey. So there is obviously an ending energy here of something major for Cancer. Seven of Wands. Kind of a youthful, maturing, with the Emperor underneath. It still has a very soft, youthful kind of energy, even though there is a position of authority. So it's a transitional phase. I'm just getting more in depth with the energy, guys. Sorry. There is something releasing in this, but obviously there's releasing in the reverse. And it feels like such a... It's not a discontent, it's like an indifference upright. Like there's all these coins at your feet, and there's no care or regard for them. Like there's something else that is more valued or valuable, and the upright cannot reverse with the Emperor. Traditional right away, it's a collection of all the kings, it's a balance, but the opulence, and yet there's a softness. Oh, I get it. Okay. I get it. It just came through. All right. Yeah. Okay. King of Swords, reverse. Upright, this is like a pretense of openness, and yet there's these guards back here. Like his arms are open, I'm wide open, yet he's got this sword and he's got these guards. And it's like, you can come towards me, but you can't touch me. I can make it look like I'm open and vulnerable, but I'm actually not. There's these hidden guardians, this readiness to defend, even though there is this appearance of openness. There's a genuine opening. Normally I see this more of a Eight of Swords, but this is the King of Swords, which is typically a very decisive, fair. King of Swords reverse isn't usually so pleasant energy, but I feel like in this case, he's not overly dressed. I mean, you can tell there's nobility and sort of a sense of royalty there. It's not the same level of opulence as the King and Queen of Coins, and it's not even the same opulence as the Emperor. But there's an opening and acceptance which actually makes sense with the overall energy being, the overall outcome being the Queen of Coins. So what I'm feeling, you know, you've got a transition card, you've got an ending card, you've got major arcanas and court cards all over the place. You know, especially though with that world card there. So there is a cycle and a chapter that's ending. Transforming, closing out. This is a Hierophant. You know, Heavenly Master, guidance. Overall energy, and it's in reverse. some of you Cancers may be moving into such a high level of ascension that you are becoming your own Hierophant. You are becoming your own spiritual master. That the lessons with direct intervention are no longer needed, or it could be a change in guidance. It could be that whatever aspect of the journey you are on is coming to a close, and therefore your guidance may shift. I feel like for some, there has been so much progression and growth and development that many of your lessons are done, are completed. You've completed the lessons. You are to the point that you are manifesting everything within without it showing up externally. Your internal work has completed. Your need for big, deep, heavy karmic lessons has completed. And now you are manifesting. There is not an attachment to the external. But because you've reached this high level of vibration, you are drawing it in anyway, with abundance in pretty much every regard. And it's showing up and manifesting externally where others can see it. But there's no pride or attachment or this is my focus. You know, there's a kind of a turning away from this on so many levels. Even upright, it's a turning away. But this way, it's even more strong. It's even stronger. So there's an awareness of this state of being in the Emperor energy, but there's not an attachment to it. You're not making it a less than, greater than. This Emperor has a very kind of soft, pliable sort of appearance. Like he doesn't quite fit where he's at. And he's sort of confused about how he ended up in this kind of space. You know, so there's not a taking for granted of it. There's a fascination with it. Maybe not being used to. But it isn't a, this is mine. It's, so this is what happens after this. Okay. That's really kind of the energy I'm getting off of it. King of Swords in reverse, and it is the likely future outcome for this transition. So I feel like, again, this is a longer sort of thing, but this is the space that has begun. And the King of Swords is at genuine and authentic openness, acceptance, willingness to receive without blocking it or being offended or defensive about it. There's no holding on to it. There's no greed in it. There's no hidden agenda. There's nothing in particular that you're trying to guard or protect. And of course, that draws in even more. It just keeps on coming and keeps showing up externally. Because the internal energy is just at that vibration where the universe in whatever this particular feature or this leg of your journey, of your transformation, it has been completed. It doesn't mean you're done on your larger life path, purpose, whatever. It just means that you've hit such a level on this one that this one is completed. And there will be a new set. Then you get to start all over again with the Fool. Yay. But yeah, it looks like Cancers, there's plenty who are completing this part of their ascension journey. So congratulations and manifestation. The natural occurrence of that higher vibration is going to bring in greater abundance and a level of power, but it's not a power to be manipulated, to be used to your advantage, to be selfish with. It's an inner power, really. And you know, you'll move from this state of mild surprise and confusion to a state of, you know, comfort and ease with what is. But remember, don't take it for granted. Just don't take it for granted. Otherwise, you're undoing, you know, this energy, and then you get to go right back and revisit again. And if the universe has to come back and reteach the lessons that got you to this energy, oh no, you don't want that. I'm sure of it. You do not want that for the Cancers that are in this place. I feel like this may be a fairly small collective of Cancers. Some of you may be close to this place, to this closing out. And so this is kind of a heads up. This is where you're heading. So however it resonates, whatever place you're in, there you go. All right, moving on to Leo. Lions, come roar for me. Show me something good. Leos have been going through some major inner transformation, particularly about self-worth and self-value, which, you know, really kind of surprises me because Leos just have so much power. You know, just inner strength, that fire. I love the fire energy. Oh, of course I do. But it is just such a... I love fire energy. And it kind of surprises me every reading how much growth Leo is going through and expand. I guess I always just assumed Leos, not realizing how much of it was in my own, that Leos were just this hyper confident, cocky type of energy, especially with the very social butterfly kind of thing, the attention, wanting to be the center of. But you know, a lot of Leos in the Pisces encounters really do not want to have that centered attention focus. And it's probably, you know, the other energies in the charts kind of balancing it out. But I'll tell you, Leo energy in particular, I can't speak, well, yeah, I can't speak to the other fire energies really because they're not as strongly in my chart. And that's the shit right there, really. All right, Leos, for the weekend. What is your overall energy for the weekend, October 16th, 17th? Yeah. Well, color me corrected. Leo, whoa, didn't even, no. All right. Most immediate past relevant to this reading for the weekend for Leo. These cards have kind of a habitual behavior I'm noticing. They need to be cleansed soon. So I may transition for Virgo in the fall. Present energy for Leo for the weekend of October 17th, 18th, 48 hours. Present energy. Transition. And most likely outcome for this weekend in this situation. No, it doesn't even have the right, I don't even know what it is, and it doesn't have the right energy. Likely outcome for the weekend for Leo. If you don't jump, Leo, gotta be a little more decisive than that. Most likely outcome for the weekend for Leo. Really? And overall outcome for the weekend for Leo. Yeah, I'm going to change decks. This one needs clearing. Only deck that I've actually noticed needs to be cleared. Most of them don't hold energy to this degree. Overall energy, Seven of Swords, conflict, battle, skirmish, intense fighting. But with the swords, it could be internal. It could be internal conflict, Leo. We'll see. Knight of Staves. Knight of Wands. What's really interesting is wands are usually, they're fire energy, so you're definitely showing up in your own reading. There's usually so much movement, and Knight of Wands is usually a fairly decent, very fast moving. That one is not. Very slow. But it came out in reverse. This is not a young man. This is somebody that calculates what they're going to do, plans, takes things slow and diligently. They're not impulsive. The Knight of Wands in reverse can be an impulsive energy, or it can be a stagnant energy. Just kind of depends. This is somebody who's not impulsive. So reverse, again, we have the same thing. So even though it's not really much of a movement, a physically moving card, it can still be a very impulsive energy, or it can be a very stagnant energy. So we'll see. With this conflict, I almost feel like it's impulsive. And it's in the past, but it's going to direct and guide everything else. Four of Staves, it's all about balance, controlled balance, focus, attention. Being really attentive to the present moment and literally what is right in front of you. And it's in transition. So I do feel like this may be an inner conflict. this conflicted energy of impulse drive, and impulse drive to being inwardly balanced and controlled, and really taking that passion and that drive to want to rush in, but using it in a way that's a little more beneficial, less unbalanced, less impulsive. But it's a transition. The Six of Cups, potential outcome. So this may be about a love interest. A connection you may already be in, but there is this torn, yeah, that's exactly what it is. I feel like this is a love interest, and you're already in it. But there's a change, there's a potential change going on. So there's this inner conflict with yourself, or it could be with this other person, this battle perhaps of communication, of thought, of belief, of values perhaps. And now what I feel like is with this is this was impulsive, very fast, not using the inner guidance and wisdom available. And now you're wondering, okay, how do I get right with this? How do I get in balance with this? Because it was impulsive, I feel like. And now there's this conflict, both inner and probably outer, because what is within will show up without. So this impulsive decision, maybe these things already existed, and now what is within is showing up without, and there's an attempt to balance that inner and outer in a much more controlled kind of context to gain this levelness, this equal level of management, really. It's not necessarily trying to control others. It is an inner control, but it is to create this inner and outer balance. But this is the overall energy, so it's still there. This inner conflict that may be showing up externally that has created this not sure what to do, how to gain this. Do I want to gain this? Or do I want to just let it go? Do I just drop these wands and let it be whatever, you know? So there's still that energy of inner conflict, inner turmoil, a desire for this balance, but how desired is it? So the possible future, obviously, with this undecided, is whether or not to stay in this connection. And there's these memories. There's, like every other reading except for one, there is that fondness of memory. But there's also this kind of disconnect, this distance between self and other, and a distance between self and self. And do I put in the work the focus, the energy, the concentration between self and other, internal, external. And keep this as it is, or just let it go. Because if you let this go, this is going to go with it. Six of Coins. This is greed and selfishness. It is reversed. Now this could be, I'm getting a couple different messages about this. I'm getting overgiving with it in reverse, which may be part of what this is. Maybe there's habitual overgiving and imbalance, which Six of Coins is all about imbalance. It's about, you know, not having, oh, wow. Holy cow. The Six of Cups is very imbalanced. Look at this. If you were to look at this person as kind of a scale, look at where this cup is and look at where this cup is. And somebody, look at the position of the cups. This one is being so carelessly held. It's all, I don't know if you can tell, but it's getting ready to get dumped out. And look at the distance between this cup and these fond memories. This one is being held with a lot more stability and it is a lot closer. There is a very clear imbalance. In this energy. And it is showing all up, all over this reading, Leo. Six of Coins. This is, the energy is either this overgiving, not giving enough to yourself. Maybe the other person is not giving enough to themselves and they're being stretched too thin. Maybe you're trying to make up the difference and that's creating conflict and imbalance within you. It could be any number of ways this imbalance here, this inequality is occurring. And it's not necessarily because somebody is selfish or greedy. It may be because somebody needs to be focused on self. And they're focused on what they're getting from someone else, rather than what they're giving themselves. So, Leo, this energy here, this balance, I feel like will become clear. What to do with this will become a little more clear in this going back within to the beginning, to what's creating this overall energy, which is that inner conflict. The thoughts, beliefs, opinions, viewpoints, perspectives, illusions, whatever it is, this starts with an inner conflict. Then it shows up externally, and this is what follows. So all of this imbalance starts inside of you. And this is the place to correct it. You put this to rest, you make peace with this, all of this will right itself in whatever that means. You settle down this inner energy, everything else will level out. Will it be what you want? Maybe not. Or what you think you want? Maybe not. But it will be what's in your highest and greatest good, and what will, in the long term, give you this focused sense of balance that can be maintained, rather than this inequality that's going on, which is, I don't feel like it's manipulative or intentional or anything like that. I think it feels very karmic consequence. This is the internal and the consequence of that internal conflict showing up in your external world. So I don't feel like this is like, you know, somebody's doing something bad or wrong, or somebody's being a terrible person. It's just, this is what healing is. And then this is what the lack of healing within these internal operations, it's what happens. So I hope that helps, Leo. I don't know what the outcome is for this connection, because this is not about the connection. The connection will do what is intended based on what you do with your energy within. This is a response to. So if you want something more balanced, more equal, and more fulfilling, you got to start here. You know, if you want a reciprocal connection, love relationship that is going to not be imbalanced, to not be more of one or the other, for these to be more even and level in their energy between. You want these closer, or to even be one. It has to start here. Because this is all, everything behind this is a response to. So hopefully that helps you get from one to the other, so that you can live a healthier, more fulfilling, a bountiful and abundant life that brings you peace and joy, happiness, and love. So, it is definitely time to change decks, though, Virgo. Ooh, Virgo, you're calling for kind of a dark set here. And it's interesting, when Healing Light is the name of the deck. This is, I don't remember the name of this one. Time for these guys to get some cleansing here. Because wow. Most of my decks kind of have a very long life as far as how much energy they hold on to. I actually haven't used that deck much, and it's kind of impressing me a bit how quickly it has kind of become icky. This is a Healing Light deck. This is actually a pretty